right.
Cool. Well, yeah, let me just give you like an overview of our business, because I know we've talked a bunch, but we haven't really gotten to the granular of like where we were, where we are, and where we're trying to go.
Yeah, and real quick too, just so we're on the same page. Do you mind if we cut it at 4:45?
Oh yeah, that's fine.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
So yeah, we got more than 30 minutes in, so go for it.
Sweet. Cool. Yeah. So we started in like 2017. We actually started PL. We did that for like a year and a half. Was decent, but then switched to OA for cash flow purposes. Last year, we were pretty much all OA. We did Miles's course. We got OA to about like 60 to 70K a month pretty consistently around, I would say, July, August. So like July through, I guess, October, we were around that like 60 to 70K mark. And then
this was last year?
Last year, yep.
Okay.
And then November, December, we were above 100K for trailing 30 for a while. And then January fell down a little bit. February was actually our lowest month in like a year. For a couple reasons. One, we just weren't spending as much as we should have or could have been. And I think that was for multiple reasons. One, we were traveling a lot. Two, we were working on onboarding. We were working on onboarding a new staff member.
Warehouse side,
and then three, we were also just
okay. So like, I mean, on the prep side, I mean,
and so some prep and then some buying. Yeah. So our current like weekly rhythm is pretty much like Monday, Wednesday, Friday are like office days, and then Tuesday, Thursday are prep days.
Okay, so you're sending out 2 shipments a week then? Is that right? Or is it like, is each prep day?
Sometimes Saturdays too. Yeah, each prep day we pretty much get a couple shipments out because we're also doing grant stuff.
Okay.
And so he had sent us a lot as well. So even though we kind of like our revenue, I guess, went down on the Amazon side, we were also just kind of compensating with the amount of stuff that we were working on for grant. And now, like this month moving forward, like our goal is to get OA to 100K a month as fast as possible, and then get wholesale to the same point, and then just double it.
Okay, I see.
Yeah. So for 2023, we want to hit like 2.5 to 3 mil top line, and then do at least like a 10 to 12% net margin on top of or underneath of that.
Yeah, and I think that's totally realistic. I mean, that would be like a solid business, and again, totally realistic. So what have you done so far on the wholesale side?
So wholesale, like brand new. So me and my VA have been adding suppliers and distributors to contact into Vendrive, and then I've just started reaching out this week. And it was actually funny because I actually had her watch your YouTube video and just pretty much go through Google using the basic keywords and just adding stuff into there. And one of the suppliers that I looked at earlier, it was like the address. I was like, I drive by this like once a week.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah.
I guarantee you probably drive by a bunch and you don't even realize it.
Yeah. So I'm going to try and swing by there actually after this call.
Oh yeah. That's smart move. And just, that is by far the best way to do it. I mean, that's going to give you the highest chances of getting that account is doing exactly that.
Yeah. So yeah, that's where we are. So our friend that we hired, who's working with us now, like I said, he's helping us with prep Tuesday, Thursdays. But then the other main thing that we're having him work on is just sourcing and buying, and mainly sourcing and buying within OA. So that way he can just focus on getting our OA spend to where it needs to be. And then that's going to let me give my attention more towards wholesale without kind of losing out on the OA part of the business.
Got it. Understood. So then on the wholesale side, like what's been your biggest pain point? Like what is it that you need help with exactly? Because I mean, I think at the end of the day, like you guys know what to do as far as open wholesale accounts, look for profitable products, analyze them and sell them. But within that process, what is it that you're stuck on? Or are you not stuck on anything at all? And you're just like literally just now starting the process and you want like best practices?
I think more the latter.
Okay.
Yeah, more the latter.
So, but like, and more specifically, like in regards to what do you say to them? what do you look for on the product side? Like, do you want to know how I would analyze a price list when you got it? Because so I did a consulting call this morning with a guy from Twitter where his thing was he got a like 80,000 SKU distributor account that he just opened. And he said it's one that he used to work with in a previous job years ago. He hit him up. He said, hey, basically, can I work with you? They said, oh, we don't work with e-commerce guys, but since we knew you before, sure. So basically, he has like potentially a really good account on his hand, but it's got so many SKUs, so many different subcategories that have you done reverse sourcing where you start on Amazon? And first of all, do you have Smart Scout?
We do not have Smart Scout.
Okay, then forget it. So then basically,
do you think that's necessary though?
No, it's not necessary. It's not necessary. I mean, it's because it's not cheap either. I think it's like $200 a month. So it's gonna help a little bit, but it's not gonna massively swing the needle. But basically, what you do is like here. I'll even share my screen, show you. And like again, I don't know if this is like the type of advice you're looking for. I'm telling you what I would do.
I'm looking for any information I can get. I'm taking notes and I'm going to apply.
Okay, hold on. So what you're going to want to do is, and so for example, the guy that I was talking to this morning, he said he had some luck buying the brand Extra Gum from this brand. Buying the brand Extra Gum from this distributor.
Right.
So I was like, all right, so then what I would do if you know that distributor carries Extra Gum, then I'm going to go to Amazon, I'm going to search Extra Gum. And then do you have DS Amazon Quick View?
Yes. Just the free one, but yeah, it gives us all that.
Yeah, that's what I have too. Okay, so then I'm typing in Extra Gum, and then what I'm doing is I'm coming through here and I'm just hovering my mouse over the ones that don't show Amazon on the listing to basically just spot check the Keepa. So this one I'm seeing, there's Amazon's dominating the listing. I'm not interested in that one, so I'm going to keep going. And so again, I see, one FBA seller, I don't see any Amazon. But when I look at the listing, so there's no Amazon on this listing according to the Keepa, right? So like Amazon's not dominating the buy box. So that's one I'd open in a new tab.
Right.
And so really all I'm looking for is I'm just making sure that, again, Amazon's not dominating the buy box and then that the Keepa is somewhat consistent. So like this one right here, the number of new sellers is skyrocketing. So this thing went from 6 new sellers at the beginning of the year to 36 today.
Right.
And that's a lot. Somehow the price has stayed the same.
It's trying to hold.
Yeah, exactly. But like we all know that it's going to come down. So this is one where like even if it was profitable today, I probably still wouldn't buy it. But I guess the whole idea, the whole purpose of doing this exercise of like looking for products where basically all you're looking for is Amazon dominating the buy box and is the price somewhat steady, right? And if the answer is yes, I'm opening that up in a new tab. I'm looking at the listing and then I'm trying to figure out, what's my price? Like do I have access to this product? And if I do, I'm saying, what's my price? And then I'm just, if I do have access to it, I'm just plugging in my price and then doing my analysis like normal. You see what I mean?
Yep.
So does that make sense? And like, does that help as far as like
totally.
guidance?
Yep. So
like that's going to be really, really tedious and take a really long time, but that's how you find the best leads by far.
Okay. So two questions. One, directly in regards to that, I'm assuming you have one of your VAs trained to do that.
Yeah, exactly. And so the advice I gave the guy this morning, I was like, master this. If you put in the reps and like grind that process for like a couple of suppliers all the way through, which is going to take you a while, but if you do that, like you'll have enough reps at that point to where you could pretty easily train a VA on how to do that, right? It's not a super, super difficult process, but it's one that you really do need to be able to execute yourself first.
Right. And that's something where you do that. You always do that by brand. So it's like, I get a supplier sheet and then I kind of spot check.
We found that's the best way to do it. So like, for example, if your supplier, like a lot of suppliers will have a list either on their website or like, if they have a price list, you can sort by brand. Basically, if you can get a master list of brands that they have essentially, then that's going to be the easiest way to do it, because if you're pretty much just going brand by brand, typing brand into Amazon, looking for products that look like they might be good to sell at a glance, i.e. Amazon not dominating the buy box and price somewhat steady. And then you're opening those up in a new tab, and then you're looking at your price list or your supplier's portal and saying, do they have the product? Yes. What's the price? Analyze, yes or no.
Right. Okay. Got it.
And then, so that's where Smart Scout, a tool like Smart Scout, definitely makes it a little easier. Have you ever seen the Smart Scout interface? Like, are you familiar with
I have not. No, I've listened to tons of Scott's stuff and all his CTAs about Smart Scout, but I haven't gotten it.
I don't have an affiliate code yet, so I'm not going to show you. I'm kidding. I'll show you right now.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let me see.
Bro, you need to get an affiliate code stack, bro.
I know. I just got one, or I'm getting one from Melio, the one that I use to use credit card to pay cash.
I saw that tweet. I was like, that is clutch. Do you use that for a lot of suppliers?
Only the ones that only take cash. Let's see what they're doing. Okay, yeah. So in Smart Scout, I'm coming here to brands, and so let's just use Extra Gum as an example again. And then I'm gonna go grocery. So the brand Extra in the grocery category. And so I want to make sure that I'm looking at the right brand, because a lot of times there's duplicates. And so this is saying this brand Extra is doing $610K a month in revenue. So that's definitely, and they're in the chewing and bubblegum subcategory. So obviously that's the correct one. Right. So I'm going to click that, and I'm going to click products. And then, so this is giving me 71 listings that are listed under that Extra Gum brand. But you guys know as well as I do, a lot of times there's multiple brand, like there's basically duplicate brands on Amazon. So like sometimes, for example, like it might, extra, there might be like an Extra Gum, like you might find some gold if you like come down here and find, maybe like a brand that was miscategorized or something. But for the most part, most of their products are going to be right here. And so really all we do is, so now we've got pretty much all the listings right here in one place, all 71 of them. I pretty much only like to filter out Amazon in stock rate of maximum 50%. So that's just saying, show me everything where Amazon has dominated the buy box for less than half of the last year. And so that took that 71 down to 51. And then from here, I'm just opening up in a new tab, and I'm doing the same thing I was doing on Amazon, where I'm just saying, okay, so this one's obviously wrong. Amazon's been on that way more. Same thing there. Same thing there. This one, this is for an 18 pack of these 4 flavors. And this looks like a solid target, right? Pretty steady price point for the most part, crazy high volume. And one where now that I know that this is a listing that sells well, now I'm going to go back to my supplier and see if I can source these specific products from that list. Does that make sense?
Totally. Could you use
that's where
Smart Product Finder to almost do the same thing?
Yeah. And I have not used Keep a Product Finder, to be transparent, but from what I understand, the guy that I talked to this morning confirmed that yes, essentially it's the same thing. He did say that I guess Keep a Product Finder doesn't show like the revenue amount, which doesn't really matter as long as you know that you're looking at the right brand.
Right. Okay. Gotcha.
But I mean, I think, and Smart Scout is very powerful for other purposes too. So I don't think it's essential right now, especially if you have Keep a Product Finder, but it's something to definitely invest in down the road.
For sure. Do you ever look for those duplicate brands, if you like the duplicate brand names, if you can't find it profitable with like the actual brand name, or do you try and avoid that for like listings?
I mean, we'll look for any profitable listing. So like, how you can have a product that there's literally three duplicate listings for the same product. Well, we're going to list under all 3, assuming all 3 are profitable and are doing some level of volume. So I guess that's kind of almost getting too far in the weeds as far as like looking for those misspelled brand names or like duplicate brand names. You kind of just come across them as you find them. It's not something you like seek out.
Cool. What was the other question I had? Oh, in terms of pricing with distributors, right? So you said, okay, I'm going to they have this brand. I'm going to find a couple listings, and then this is my price point for the products on those listings. And then I'm going to send, do you just send them a quote and go from there? Or if that is like not close to what their pricing sheet is, it's kind of like,
Well, so typically what I'm doing is like if I'm looking at a listing that I know looks good, then I'm looking at my supplier's pricing to see if it's decent. And so typically if it's profitable, like based on the pricing they're giving me, just like my normal wholesale pricing,
Right.
then if it's my first order, typically we'll just order and not really ask for a discount. But like if the product is basically like break even at their current pricing and I need a discount to make it work, then I will only ask for one if it's going to be a big order, right? Like I'm not really going to ever ask for a discount on like maybe like a 2-case pack test order. If it's something that I think really has potential and like I need a discount to make it work, then I'd be like, hey, I'm going to try to buy like a few hundred of these or like, a couple $1,000s or whatever to make it worth that discount request.
Right. Okay. But you would even do that off the first order as long as it's big enough.
Yeah, and somebody asked me that the other day on Twitter. They said, "When would you ask for a discount on the first order?" And I said I probably wouldn't unless it was like around 10K or more. Because there's plenty of instances where like we've opened an account and our first order is going to be like over 10K, and so typically in those cases I say like basically here's what we're thinking. What can you do, or like what's your best price? And almost always they'll come down if you're over that price point.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. How do you go about, so I kind of understand like finding the distributors thing, and I've already got a bunch in there that, I need to keep reaching out to.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't given as much thought or I guess research into finding good brands.
Mm-hmm.
But I definitely want to add like brand direct relationships in too. What's your research method for that and your value adds when you go to reach out to them?
Yeah, so you can use Smart Scout to do exactly what we just did for, product leads. You can do the same thing to find brand leads, because Smart Scout will give you a lot of information regarding like how much revenue is the brand bringing in per month and estimate, how many sellers are on the listings on average. So you can pretty quickly tell like which listing or which brands allow third-party sellers and which ones don't. So it's a really good tool for that. What I will say is I typically just go, to kind of take the budget route, is you just go to Amazon and, in fact, I've already recorded this part of the free course, like the how to find brand leads. And, it's the one I sent you.
I thought that one was you know what? Then that totally catches my bluff, because that means I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, no. So no, it's fine. And it's all good. But that, what I sent you is literally how to do this. So
okay, cool.
I'd say watch that. But it's just go to Amazon, find like somewhat niche brands that are selling well, that are not dominated by Amazon, and literally just Google the brand and call them.
Okay, solid. And do you have like any brand exclusive relationships?
Yeah, so we have one brand where we're the exclusive reseller, and it's literally just one product. It's seasonal. So it's like it sells not very well vast majority of the year. And then all of November and December, it crushes. But like, so that's one. But it's just like it's literally a dad and daughter that have the product. It's not like a big company. And then there's one where we're one of two. So like a semi-exclusive, one where we're one of 10, one where we're one of like a small handful, one where we're like one of 7. So like a lot of like semi-exclusives, I guess, if you want to call them that, but only one true like full exclusive.
Have you found like those mid-size brands tend to do that, where they do like semi-exclusive? Like they're like, okay, we only want X amount of sellers on. Yeah.
Like some, like you could get smaller brands with like only a couple of, well, really, I mean, you can get like, listen, you can get a full exclusive on any size brand. Like there's massive Amazon sellers out there where that's their whole business model. Like they have a solo exclusive on like a $50 million a year brand. Like there's Amazon sellers out there that have that. But I mean, typically the easiest ones to target are going to be the ones that are like small to mid-size, definitely more niche brand, not owned by some like national corporation,
right?
But probably like 5 to 10 employees, something like that. Yeah, that like has some traction on Amazon, and like where your value add is typically like there's so many good brands out there that are selling really well on Amazon that just their listings are like they're complete. And so if you can get their attention and then educate them on, hey, your listing only has 2 photos, yet you're selling 300 units a month. So if we could touch that up and then make sure that we do a good job of updating the SEO with the title, with the bullet points, add A+ content in the description, really just touch up the listing in a couple of different ways to massively increase the discoverability and therefore the sales of that product. And so your offer is like, hey, we'll do this all for free for you, no problem, just for the ability to be able to sell your products.
Right.
Solid. But the thing is sometimes like we've actually not led with that recently. Like we've actually started not even bringing that up at all. We'll reach out and say, hey, we'd like to basically just say we want to open a wholesale account, like not lead with the Amazon thing at all, just try to start buying from them. And if they say no, then we'll say, okay, well, then we'll try to like educate them after that. Because like sometimes they'll give you the account just because you're, you know, a reseller. And then once you have a foot in the door is when you can maybe start to say like, hey, you know, we noticed a couple things on Amazon.
Right. Makes sense. Kind of have, you know, like levels to it essentially.
Where do you like to keep your like order amounts to? Is it like a certain number or a certain couple of weeks of inventory, or how far?
So we'll always try to shoot for 45 days worth of inventory on hand. And that's for established products. So if it's something we're test ordering, we're ordering like, you know, a couple weeks to 30 days worth of product at the most.
Okay.
But then stuff that we've been carrying for a long time that's just been really dependable, up to 60 days worth.
Up to 60. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Have you ever gotten like in a situation where you had extra inventory? When I say extra, like up to 60, and then it's like all of a sudden there's twice as many sellers on it, price tanks kind of thing.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that was kind of our issue going into last year, and honestly, that's why our margins were lower last year, is because of the fact that we just we weren't turning inventory fast enough, so our cash flow took a hit, and we weren't able to scale as quickly as we were scaling quickly, but then we had to slow down because we weren't managing our cash flow. So
right.
I'm looking at our inventory planning tab right now, and our turns right now is 5, which is terrible. Honestly, that's really bad for an inventory business or for a retail business. So that's been like a big focus of ours is, I mean, we need to get that up to like 10. Honestly.
Yeah, I was going to say like
8 to 10,
close to, almost 10.
So 5 is atrocious.
So are you going to stick with that 60-day model, or are you going to try and like just buy less?
Well, the issue is that before that we were going even like deeper than 60 days. So we were just going. Oh my
goodness.
Yeah, we were just like going too deep on. Yeah, so we were just like going too deep on certain. Well, but it was on products that like we had been selling for that were proven. Like we just But it's like we had just gotten burned, either a bunch of new sellers or, for example, one product that we went like 6 months deep on because their lead time runs like 3 to 6 months. So we pretty much bought up. We pretty much bought up all the market, at least so we thought. But then, and so we went like 75K into it, and then 2 days after they shipped, the supplier says, "Oh, we're getting rid of our map policy." So we went from netting $25 a unit to losing $15 a unit, literally within like a week. And so, but the thing is, like, we sat on them for like 3 or 4 months, hoping the price was going to go up, and it never did. So we're like, yeah, we just had to like dump it. And so that's rough. And that a couple more things like that happen, not at that scale, like on a smaller scale, but like similar situations that cause us again to sit on more inventory than we thought. So and one of them is like being too loyal to a brand that we've worked with for years, right? Buying a lot of just product that just sat there, and so it's just in hindsight like a lot of learning opportunities, and that's why I know it's going to be a different story going forward.
Yeah. So when you say buying stuff from brands that you were like being too loyal to, is that buying products that you knew you weren't making money on to try and like build a relationship?
No. So it's like, for example, it's really one brand in particular, like the first brand that we ever worked with, and it's the one where we're one of 2 exclusive sellers on. It's just like their pricing has continued to go up. Their map pricing has stayed the same. And, it's one of those things where we've done a lot for them, like optimized a lot of their listings, paid out of pocket to make A+ content, like done a lot for them. And they've got one other Amazon seller that they're just still loyal to for some reason. Like the guy's never done for them. And I've literally bent over backwards for them for like 3 or 4 years, and met with them in person 3 or 4 times, flown to Chicago to meet with them 2 or 3 times. That's and great. They're not very loyal, and their as Amazon fees have gone up, the shit's like not even very profitable anymore. So it's like we had bought, and they're spring seasonal. So we had bought a ton of shit going into the spring, but they were out of stock for so long during COVID because they were prioritizing retail customers. When in reality, but the demand was so hot for their stuff on Amazon. Like I was like begging for orders, and they were just prioritizing brick and mortar. So we were out of stock on the best products for literally 6 months. Ranking got killed, and now nothing sells well anymore. Like they went from selling like wildfire, great margins, to just fell off. Sales are down like 80%, and the owner just doesn't get it. So like that's why we're just not ordering from them anymore. Like I don't care how long we work for them.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it happens. That's brutal.
But that was like, remember at Miami, one of Dan's points, 1,000 ASINs, he's like, there's always gonna be churn, so that's why it's gonna be two in, one out.
Yeah,
like,
2 in, 1 out.
We've been adding a lot of new suppliers lately, so it's like that one supplier that I just mentioned at one point was like 33% of our revenue. Like they were literally like a third of our business, and also like the vast majority of our profit. And nowadays they're like probably like 6% of our revenue.
Wow,
so
that's crazy.
And so you've always got to keep more coming in.
Yeah, can't become comfortable.
No,
that's wild.
That's the thing.
But yeah, I know we only have a few, like 6 more minutes. So what else do you guys have? Sorry, I don't want to take. I know you're good.
This is all super helpful. So my goal moving forward is I just want to reach out to at least 10 distributors or brands a day, and then kind of once I have more data from that,
I would say, listen, I think 10 a day is like a good target to shoot for, but they've got to be quality. Like when you say 10 a day, that's very doable in terms of like time commitment wise. But I think you'll find that it's like it is pretty difficult to find 10 really solid quality distributors per day. Because, I mean, to give you context, like, and we're not even reaching out to any, like, as of today, because our pipeline's pretty solid. Yeah. But we were reaching out to 2 solid distributors per day. And then we even knocked it down to 5 per week. So like, it's just, every Thursday we'd hit 5 new ones, which basically equated to 1 per day. And like, you'll find that if you're targeting a niche and, you're really focusing on quality, you only need a couple of good accounts like that. Then really, because like I said, if you're reaching out to 10 per day, inevitably the quality, I think, is going to be a little lower. Yeah. And if you need help, like knowing what a good distributor looks like, then like we share your screen and I will tell you straight up, like, this is why this one's good or this is why this one's bad. And I think that for whatever reason, that is like the hardest thing for newer people to master. And it's like, once you can actually differentiate between a good supplier and a bad supplier, I think that's when people start to take off, because I spun my wheels for literally like a year and a half sourcing like suppliers that were just e-commerce websites that sold at a cost that was like more than Amazon. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was going to say, because part of my reasoning for reaching out to 10 a day is because I know I have no clue what the difference between like a quality and a non-quality one is. So I figured I would at least start to learn that by doing volume.
Yeah. And that's a good approach, but like I can literally shorten that learning curve for you by, next time we talk, have a list of, have as many as you want. We could spend the whole call doing that if you want, but just have a list of suppliers that you're saying, hey, I want feedback on this. And I'll share my screen. I'll just go to that. I'll just go to the URL and say like, all right, I think this one looks good because of XYZ, or I would avoid this one because of XYZ.
That would be perft. Yeah.
And I would recommend, stay in a niche. Don't, I would advise against a list of 20, where 3 are tools, 6 are grocery, 2 are electronics. Like I'd say find 15 to 20 solid like outdoor distributors, or 15 to 20 solid grocery distributors. And like, let's get deep into a niche, because I'm telling you, it's going to be easier to, because like once you're in an industry, it's easier to leverage like that credibility to get other accounts in the same industry.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah, that's good.
Cool. Okay. Yeah, that's super helpful. I'll do that. And then let's plan on just doing that pretty much for the whole call next week.
Yeah, we can definitely do that. That sounds good. Hold on. Was next week?
And I will actually watch the video that you sent me.
Yeah. No, you're good. No, Greg had some really helpful feedback on that. So
Okay.
I'd be curious to hear what you think. And yeah, so that the one I sent you is for like the brand research, and then I'm going to create the second module, which is just going to be the distributor research. And
Okay, solid.
The first video is 30 minutes. The next one would be 20 or 30 minutes at the most.
Love it. And did you say you have a conflict at 4 next week, or is that a different week?
I thought I did. I think that, yeah, next week we're good. Let's see. It's the 29th.
Okay, cool.
All right. Well, yeah, I'll talk to y'all next week. Just like
Sounds
text
good.
me or whatever in the meantime if you need something.
Bet.
All right. Thanks, Corey.
Yep, see ya.
Later.